It's your boy Slim Trader back from a long hiatus. I know it's been a while. I shouldn't have left you without a dope rhyme to step to. But here we go. I'm gonna make it short and sweet. The market's just opening, so Sunday's pretty slow and tricky sometimes. Usually the initial direction on Sunday tends to go the opposite way the next day. But neither here nor there. We're going to start with USD JPY, my favorite pair. Then we're going to go to GBP JPY. Then we're going to go to GBP USD. We're going to go over those three currencies and try to find out if we can see some type of divergence between the three. We're going to go over gold and also we're going to reach over to some stocks. We're going to probably look at Nvidia. We're going to look at Apple and then also my favorite Tesla. So let's get to it. I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to make this short and sweet. So we're going to look at the daily of UJ. I have my daily levels keyed out. So all I am doing is just waiting for price to get to certain levels and seeing how it reacts. Right now, I currently have it on Heikin-Ashi candles. We can go into the regular Japanese candles and see where we at right now. Um, Price Friday ended in a bearish candle. So I have a mini little solid trend line going. Well, let's back up. Let's back up. Let's see what price at this black line, pretty much at 142,737, has been on a support. It hasn't been broken. It has dipped down a few times. Where's my mouse? Hold on. I guess my mouse don't want to wake up. Oh, here we go. Price has dipped down a few times. Here, here, and slightly here, but it had rebounded tremendously each time. So we know this is a strong area of support. Right now, we do have slight of a mini trend line going. If price wants to continue up, it would have to follow this trend line. Otherwise, we could see UJ next area of importance go to 138 level. But that's only if it breaks and close below the trend line and also the support level. Um, to me, it looks like it's starting to weaken. I would have thought that it would have made a bigger move to the upside once it hit the support, but now we have like a little bit of a consolidation, and usually consolidation, especially in this situation, could spell for weakness for UJ. But if UJ wants to decide and break and close above this orange, I can see it reaching between the 150 and this blue level, 150, 823. That would be the only reason why I'll get in the buys. Otherwise, I would be looking for sales for UJ, even though I'm not gonna lie, I do like what it's doing to try to get up to the 150, but overall it's still kind of looking bearish for me. Um, and I think with UJ, once it drops, it's gonna drop nicely. So I'm just gonna check what the Heikanashis are gonna do around these levels that I do have, whether it's the orange or if it wants to break above and get to the blue, or even above that to 152, where this kind of mini trend line is going. I just don't see it making new highs. It just doesn't seem too strong enough. But I don't think all that's going to happen in a week's time because I'll be on here next weekend and then we'll go over it. But for my bias, it's kind of neutral. But if I had to pick a side, I would say bearish. So let's go on the GBP JPY. Right now, it's kind of trending upwards, but we have to respect this last high and this last low. Price is kind of playing in between that. So anything can kind of happen within. So I kind of don't like GJ just because it's playing between the low and the high, and it's probably just going to do a lot of fake outs. But I do have this little trend that has been riding since April. We're trying to see if price still wants to continue to hold on to that. I see. Let's drop down to the 4 hour. Right now, it's respecting the support level and this trend line. So if you want to look for buys, this you would just want to keep following this trend line. We do kind of have an opportunity for a Fibonacci. We have price at this low coming onto the high, and then you see how it was gathering at the support level in kind of the trend line, 61.8. So we can definitely see price. I would like to see price hit the 200 mark, and that's where the 27 extension is. So it's kind of perfect for that. It looks like that's what GJ is probably going to be end up doing, in my opinion. I don't want to see GJ get below like 160,575, 196,575. Otherwise, we could potentially start seeing it go to the downside. However, if you look back here, if you look back here, price was making support at this level, and we can see that it looked like it's trying to do the same thing here, which will carry on the extension of breaking this structure, coming down, and then possibly making the new high. We have equal highs here that we can see GJ potentially come to, and then if it wants to exceed, hit the major psychological level of 200. I definitely can see that happening. So if I had to choose a direction for GJ, I would say at this very moment, I would be looking for buys, but I would definitely like to see it stay above the trend line for the most part. Next, we have GBP USD, pound versus the dollar. And it's kind of like the same thing with GJ. It's kind of playing between a range of this high and this low. However, I do have a support here at the 50 because I did draw a fib as well from the low to the high, and we have price staying above the support level. We can look over to the left some more. We can see how price was pretty much respecting this area. You could see a lot of rejection here, and now we're playing above that area. So this is trying to play as support. You can see, I know I love the Heikin-Ashi. Heikin-Ashi is so much better for me. But I'll go back to the Japanese candles. You can see price make this strong bearish move, and then it kind of like hit its brakes and then started making support, and it did another big bearish candle and it kind of hit brakes, and it's staying above this support level. So if anything, this one's going to be tricky because price could still kind of I'm not too sure what GBP USD wants to do, but as of right now, it's definitely in bullish territory. However, we got 137. Um, this area is a major key level, so we probably could see some rejections and hit back at this trend line. This one's tricky as well. We have GBP JPY looking strong, so that will give me the notion that possibly the pound may be stronger than the dollar, because if we go back to UJ, was unsure about the dollar against the yen. It's kind of in this consolidation area. Maybe the yen might be weak overall compared to the two, but I feel very confident with the pound being bullish. So if the pound's going to be strong, maybe the pound is going to be strong against the dollar. So we could possibly see 138,500 for GU, but it has to stay above the support. We could see it possibly bounce around between, let me get my path. We can see price possibly bounce around here, maybe do some consolidation action before we figure out exactly what it wants to do. So next we have gold. I know everybody loves gold, right? So gold has been kind of consolidating a little bit if you look at it from an overall perspective. We have this whole zone right here where price has just kind of been isolating on. So it's still still good opportunities for buys and sells. As of right now, gold has been on all-time highs. Right here is the last high, all-time high that we have for gold at this point. That was right at 3,500, and then from there we haven't seen 3,500 again. However, gold is still riding this nice trend all the way since the beginning of the year. So either two things: either we're starting to see this trend line possibly become weak and we could see a new direction going for gold, or we can continue and start making new highs. If we're still going to be bullish, which we should, just because nothing's really made us, not no structure really has been broken. If we start here, we kind of, if you look, let's go to the 4 hour. If you look, we do have like a left shoulder, we have the head, we have a right shoulder. So this is bullish structure on a trend line, on a support. I know this is yellow. You probably really can't see it. So let's change it to orange. Let's change this one to orange. So we have support with a trend line. We have head and shoulders. This is definitely potential for a bullish move to the upside. We can at least see price gold get to 34.25. From there, it's kind of hard to gauge what it wants to do. If it wants to pass this, we can definitely potentially see gold make new highs. But if you were to get into some buys, I would definitely at least take some profit. If price wants to get 34.25, because that could be a turning point eventually. But I like gold. Gold still looks bullish in my view. And if we wanted to do a bigger fib for the bigger picture, we can see price. So I like this. So let's draw. I see price. If you look at this area, this was a resistance for a point of time, and then it became a support. So let's draw a line right there, because that's a nice point of interest. We had price rejecting, and it came up. Now it's support. Then we came and tapped down again, and now we're moving up. Now we're at this head and shoulders. I did the bigger picture of the fib. It's right at the 61.8 perfectly. So if price wants to get to the 27 extension, that can be our next point of interest. And that would be new highs. We can see potentially gold making new highs. So it looks good for me for buys. I like gold to continue its run. Um, so we'll see about that. I know I have two fibs. It looks like a lot of lines are going on, but um, this is kind of for me, to be honest. I know what's going on. I can read it. It may be confusing to some, but it's not for me. And that's all that matters. Everybody has their own style of trading and how they want to pursue the market. And I just do what works for me. So, NVIDIA, I don't really have any markups on NVIDIA. However, we are at all time highs. Let me close this session. That way we can really see the moves that are going on. Let's go to Heikinashi's. So, I mean, there's no resistance in sight for real. We have this area of 164, 165. We can see if price wants to kind of do a pullback from there, but eventually I'll probably see Nvidia getting to 185. I'm not saying that's going to happen over the week. We do have earnings. Oh, that's in August, the end of next month. But for now, I want to see what price wants to do here around the 164, 165 area. And if it wants to continue up, make support here, we can potentially see Nvidia aim for 185. That's a lot. That is a lot. But for a stock that is good, it's in front of the AI race. It's at all-time highs. Um, it wouldn't be surprising to me to see price get up to the 185, 186 area. Could it possibly be due for a pullback? Yes, maybe. But I don't really see price getting below 145.95 anytime soon. But we will see. Apple. We can do Apple. Apple right now, I really like for a buy. And once price, I feel, gets above this little counter trend line and this resistance level, I think sky is the limit for Apple. 280 range looks like the next point of interest that it can eventually go to. I think it may take a little bit of time. You do have earnings at the end of the month, so we'll see how that where that would like to push Apple. Apple hasn't really been having good news lately, but it's still a hot buy. We can see here if we zoom out, we had it consolidating, and then I remember eventually breaking this and making new highs. It tried to make a support. It did make it as a support to let you know that this is a pretty strong level, and then it ended up making new highs. So that tells me that this area right here was once all-time highs. It broke through, it came back down, and it retested this, which was a resistance. And then this area, this move ended up making new all-time highs. So this is a major area, major area. And this is a psychological level because it's right around the 200 too. But the thing that I like is how price did dip down and broke through. Let's zoom in a little bit and let's go on Japanese candles. But price dipped down, broke through, and made the strong bullish to make this support once again. That's why I'm really, really liking Apple. Apple's probably I'm gonna be looking for buys all week, next week, week after, until something tells me otherwise. But I do want to see what price wants to do around this area of concern, which is the counter trend and also a resistance. So when price gets around here, we'll see. But I really like Apple. Last but not least, we have Tessie, bestie, testy. Tesla has been sporadic lately. Up and down, up and down, up and down. You got news, Elon Musk this, Elon Musk that, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. So a lot of things that's been going on has been affecting the cost of Tesla. However, if you read between the lines, Tesla's still in good shape. Tesla's still in good shape to continue up. So we have this area that is currently a support, and then we have the lower area that's followed by a trend line. So this trend line is showing that price is still trending up, even though we had major drops here and there, even this drop right here. But we're still rebounding, and we're still kind of holding this as a support overall. Lately, price last did come and reach to the support level and now is trading above it. So can we see, are we going to see either consolidation? Let's pull out the path tool again. Are we going to see consolidation amongst this area, or are we going to eventually see a breakthrough either direction? I think we have more, it looks like we may have more chances of it going to the upside, but if anything, I can see Tesla, if it decides to break our area of support, I can see it getting down to at least around the 270, 260 area and then making its way up. So I wouldn't necessarily say buys for Tesla at this moment. But if Tesla decides it wants to come down back down to the 300 mark this week, if it wants to try to make some type of bullish um, structure or momentum, then I could possibly see either Tesla getting up to the 359 or even the midpoint. Let's make a midpoint. Price always love to go between the halfway point of two key levels. So let's make one as we speak. And you see how this halfway point right here, if you look, you see how price was kind of like hesitating on that. You see that? It's just because the charts is like art. This is all art. Everything's a pattern. As you can see, price respect this area, respect this area. And this just the midpoint of this is just the midpoint of two key levels that I have. And we see that it was a support. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at for Tesla. Tesla does need to come above here, make a support of some sort, or just bust right through it to even look at the 400 mark. So to be honest, Tesla may have some work to do to get up. As of right now, I do like the strong bullish momentum that it did, but it's kind of dying and getting weak. So we possibly could see like a double bottom, or we can possibly see price go down even cheaper to where it'd be an even better buy for for most buyers. If we look at let's go to the 2 hour. If we look at the fib from the low to the high that it is making, we also see price playing around, making a little bit of support at the 61 and how it tapped it. And now we're kind of up on it. So this could be good indication that it still wants to go up. We can make another little trend line if we want to. And we can say, hey, price just needs to stay above this particular trend line. And if it does, we can start seeing price eventually get to the 405 mark. But if not, then price could possibly fall into this next trend line or this next level of support. So what I would recommend is wait for price on all these pairs and stocks that we went through. Wait for price to get to one of these key levels because price kind of already made its move and it's in no man's land, but it will eventually get to one of these levels. And then from there, you just want to wait and see what price wants to do. If it's going to give you a bearish candle, if it's going to bearish momentum candle or bullish momentum candle, then that's when you will want to get into your entry. But like I said, I will be back next week and we'll go over and see how the market did play out. But I will keep these levels the way they are. I won't change them. And that way, next week, when we do another analysis for the weekend, we can see how price respected or just burst through some of these points of interest. And we can go over where we could got in trades. But until then, I'll see y'all next time.